Hi guys, so among the Radeon 6600, the B580, or the Nvidia 4060, which is the best value GPU for budget gaming, spoiler, it is the 6600. So yeah, you can end the video there. You can go buy a 6600 8GB and call it a day, and you have the best budget GPU. So if you want to know a little bit more, so here's where you can watch the rest of the video and I elaborate a little bit. So how did I start being inspired to make this video is because I just watched this video from Nerd on a Budget, so one of the fellow PC content creators from the US, and he actually made a 750 USD build with the Intel Arc B580, and he managed to get the Intel Arc B580 at the MSRP of 250 USD. So a 750 system, 750 USD, if we were to convert it, it's about 1000 SGD. So obviously its entire system, including the 250 USD for the graphics card. So he has about 500 USD left over for the rest of his system, which is the CPU, RAM, and all that. But the point of this video is that it made me explore. It's like, oh, the Intel Arc B580, is it in stock and so on? Because in one of my previous videos, I looked at it and the Intel B580 was actually sold out. That was, I think, about 2 weeks to even a month after its launch. So now the Intel Arc B580 is readily available in Singapore. So for example, if you go to Lazada and you search for the Intel Arc B580, because take note that the B580 and the B570 has actually launched. But B570s are still pretty rare, I think, in Singapore, but B580s are in stock. So the lowest price we could get them is $419 for the ASRock, the basic ASRock version, or you could spend like $20 more, $10 more to get the white version, which I think is really nice. It's a triple fan version, also from ASRock. These are the cheapest listings. There is a B580 here for $414. I think this might be the cheapest. This is by VPC, if I'm not wrong. Yep, so by VPC. So VPC, this is legit as well. So that is the cheapest we can get, a 414 for Intel Arc B580. So compared to its competitors, which is the 4060, what can we get? So if you go and search for Nvidia 4060s, the lowest we could get them was around $448. So that is significantly more, about 30 SGD more, so $30 more to get 4060. So take note that the 4060 is has less CPU overhead as compared to the Intel Arc B580, because I did make a few shorts and videos talking about how the Intel Arc B580 has a very high CPU overhead. So if you're running a budget CPU like a 5600 or 3600, even for 5600s, where most of us would consider that a mid-range CPU, you would be running into CPU overheads. So I think the Intel Arc B580 only makes sense if you're running like an AM5 CPU like the 7600, 7500F, or if you're running a higher end AM4 CPU like the 5700 X3D, for example. So if not, then you will run into overheads. In this build by Nerd on a Budget, he is using the 5700 X3D to try and minimize the CPU overhead from the Intel Arc GPU so that it makes sense. If you're using a 5600, then going with the 4060 or the 6600 would make a little bit more sense. And talking about the Radeon 6600, let me search for it. Radeon 6600. Right, and you can find the Radeon 6600 for, this is a used one. And beware of all these China listings. Like, these are too good to be true, because on Lazada there's actually a lot of scam listings since last year. So yeah, it says it ships from overseas, right? When it says ships from overseas, you gotta beware. If you look at the shop listing, there's no seller ratings and all that. So all of these are scam listings. You'll probably not get your money back if you buy anything from this kind of shops. So take note, if it's on Lazada and it lists a China listing, better, and the price is like too good to be true. Many of them, like like this Mensa official store is fake. They just basically go to the Mensa official store, copy their JPEG image and then make a scam listing. So it's, you see, this is an anonymous, right? So scam alert. If you're going to Lazada for shopping, please take note of all this scam listing from China. So back to the 6600. It's actually quite hard to find on Lazada, but you could actually go into the how should I say, the list from Simlim Square official stores. So this is by Bizgram. If you look at Bizgram, you can download it from Hardware Zone. Let's search for Radeon cards. Right, so the 4060, that lowest price is about 445. 449, sorry, so about 450 SGD. There is a 6600 sold for 319. Right, this is the Astrock CLD version. I don't know what's the color, so that is the lowest price you could get, the 6600. And because some of these so-called shopping lists, the lists from Simulation Squares, are not entirely updated, some of their components might be out of stock, but they haven't updated it. So you could also actually go into Amazon. If you go to amazon.sg and you type Radeon 6600, you could actually find ones that are pretty cheap. So for this, it's sold at 326. It's a brand new card. And if you click on it, it says ships from and sold by Amazon US, so it's pretty legit. Sold directly by Amazon US, it's gonna ship it to Singapore. The only issue if you're buying brand new cards from Amazon US is that it is an export set, so the local distributors will not honor the warranty, like will not RMA for you if you were to be damaged. So that means if you were to buy export sets, you don't get that local warranty. So you might want to buy it from local shops such as Simlim shops. And on the Lazada wise, the only 6600 I could find is 364 here, but this seller, I am not so sure. I'm not so sure if this seller is legit or not. It looks like it's legit, but I have never bought stuff from it before. Has 100% positive ratings, pretty low follower count, might be a new store. So I'm not too sure, but if this is legit, I think, yeah, so it is decent. But it's still a little bit more expensive than if you were to buy from Bizgram. Okay, so going back to the summary, so a 6600 is selling for around 326 to 31 something SGD. And then a 4060 is selling for as much as about 440, 450. And the Intel Arc B580 is selling for about 430 to 420. So the best budget GPU, budget-friendly GPU right now is the 6600 8GB card. But you have to take note that the 6600 actually underperforms the Intel Arc B580 and the 4060 by a fair bit. So this is Tom's Hardware's GPU hierarchy chart for 1080p medium settings. So here they rate the 4060 closer to the 150 FPS mark, whereby the 6600 is around the 120-ish, 120 FPS mark. 6600 XT rates closer to the 4060, but 6600 XTs are sold out everywhere in Singapore for brand new cards. If you were to try and search for them on Amazon, for example, the 6600 XT becomes really expensive. These are all 6600s. 7600 extremely expensive. So you can see a 6600 XT is as expensive as the 7800 XT. So it doesn't make sense to buy a 6600 XT online. You can only get no brand new 6600s. Okay, so there is that. Where's the Intel Arc B580? It is not on this chart. They have the Arc A570 here, but the Intel Arc B580, I believe, should be... Is it listed here? No. It's not listed on this chart. It is probably around here. It loses to the 4060 in 1080p because of the CPU overhead, but in 1440p, the Intel Arc B580 beats the 4060 pretty handily. Yeah. So 6600 is still your best budget GPU, especially if you're running on older CPUs such as a 3600, a Ryzen 3600 or a Ryzen 5600, because there's less CPU overhead, so your 6600 can perform better. It has less VRAM than the Intel Arc B580. So if VRAM is an issue and you don't mind spending another $100 more, then you can get the Arc B580. But take note that if you're getting the Arc B580 and if you're running a slower or older GPU, older CPU, then you could also have lower FPS because of the very extremely high CPU overhead. So no clear-cut answer here. Cheapest one is the Radeon 6600. All right, and thanks for watching. We'll see you guys on the next one.